On this edition of Mississippi Roads, we're in Jackson at Belhaven University, where their arts programs are attracting talent from all over the country. And we'll visit with Joel Bumgar, a Belhaven alum, who uses his talent in the business and technical arena. We'll then revisit a story about the longest-running melodrama in the world, Gold in the Hills in Vicksburg. Then we'll visit with world-renowned artist and Baldwin native George Wardlaw.
Support for the arts segment of Mississippi Roads comes from the Mississippi Arts Commission, whose mission is to be a catalyst for the arts and creativity in Mississippi. Information available at www.arts.ms.gov.
Mississippi Roads is made possible in part by the generous support of viewers like you. Thank you.
Down Mississippi Road. Mississippi Road.
Hi, welcome back to Mississippi Roads. I'm your host, Walt Grayson. This week, we're coming to you from the Gillespie Commons on the campus of Belhaven University in Jackson. The beautiful fountains here provide a relaxing area for students at this small university that gives the surrounding neighborhood its name. A little bit about Belhaven's history. In 1894, Dr. Lewis Fitzhugh established Belhaven University for young ladies about a half mile from here, the former residence of Colonel Jones S. Hamilton. The college took the name of his home, Belhaven, in honor of Hamilton's ancestral home in Scotland. In 1911, the college began operating here on its current site. Belhaven's grown tremendously over the past 35 years, adding campuses in other cities in the Southeast and reaffirming its commitment to Christian service. Belhaven's well known for its commitment to the arts and is only one of 33 schools in the United States to be nationally accredited in all arts programs: dance, music, theater, and visual arts. Our first story is about a Belhaven alumnus. He made his mark not so much in the arena of arts, but in business and technology. And his inspiring story has its roots right back here to this campus. Let's take a look. It may surprise you that a technological revolution that has taken the world started right here on campus at mild-mannered Belhaven University in Jackson. But it did. And it happened because the student here, Joel Bumgar, had a side job of repairing computers. And it was taking longer to get to and from the job than it was to do the actual work. And time being of the essence to a dedicated college student, and necessity being the catalyst that it is, Joel invented something.
So I was at Belhaven, and I was doing computer tech support on the side, and I was frustrated that I had to jump in my 1979 Buick LeSabre every time I needed to do tech support on the other side of town or on the other side of the state. So I spent my senior year at Belhaven developing a piece of software that would let me connect over the internet to a computer to fix problems that way. And then when I graduated, the light bulb went on that maybe other people needed the software that I had created, and so I put up a website and started selling the software. And now that's all we do. More than 200 employees worldwide all focus on commercializing and selling this, what has become the number one selling computer enterprise remote tech support software package in the world right now.
Joel had a reason to want to save travel time, to put it into what he had set as his goals for college before he ever enrolled.
It was fantastic. My goal at Belhaven was to have as much fun as you could possibly have, and have a 4.0. And so, I thought I was going for 2 for 2. I ended up 3 for 3. I found my wife and I met as freshmen, married as juniors. We've been married almost 13 years now. So, as best as an experience you could possibly have in college would be getting married, having a great GPA, and having a ton of fun. And Belhaven enabled me to do all three, and I got a fantastic education, and all the connections and the foundation that laid was really more than anything else the launch pad for what enabled the company to start and launch. And early on, it was heavily Belhaven grads, people I knew that were very skilled and were willing to join the team. So it was a great education and a fantastic launch pad.
From that launch pad has come Bumgar Corporation. And obviously, there are lots of other people who need to repair other people's computers, who would rather do it from their own keyboard than having to travel to, say, another town or state or country. Well, with products like the Baumgar Corporation, turns out they can do just that on a global scale, just like Joel did when he was in college on a local scale.
Yeah, so we have more than 8,500 companies in 60 countries have purchased our software for the purpose of either doing employee tech support or customer tech support, and includes 7 of the 10 best-known brand names worldwide and a huge percentage of the Fortune 500. And it's honestly, our customer base is kind of a lot of gold-plated logos.
And this company that has revolutionized tech support worldwide is located in Madison County. Now, you'd think they'd be in a major metropolitan area or in Silicon Valley or someplace like that. But instead, they're right here in Mississippi.
The benefit of Mississippi is it is harder to find talent here, but there's fantastic talent here. And once you find it, it's very loyal. The challenge you get with Silicon Valley or a lot of big cities is you get a lot of employees with this mentality that I'll work someplace 6 months until I can get a better job somewhere else. So there's a lot of people just kind of hopping, chasing stock options and all of that. We've just had incredible luck finding incredible talent here and then keeping that talent for 5 or 7 or 9 years of people investing in the company and becoming part of it. And that's been a very special part of it, and that's been a big draw of staying headquartered in Mississippi. We have about 200 employees worldwide. We have employees, the majority here in Madison County at our headquarters, but we have employees spread across 12 other U.S. states, sales offices all over, as well as we have employees across the EMEA, Europe, Middle East, and Asia region, as well as employees in the Asia-Pacific region selling into Pacific Rim, all those types of countries. So really we have a global reach, but with employees that are spread across 4 or 5 different continents and 5 or 6 different countries probably.
Needless to say, in the computer field, and that includes iPhones and laptops and iPads and Android devices and all sorts of stuff, new products develop quickly. Probably there are new things that have rolled out since this story was edited. And with all of that, to stay number one in the field where your product has to know how to communicate with everything out there, or even to stay in the game, much less stay number one, you have to have the equivalent of a 12-year-old advising their grandparents about what's new all the time. Of course, Baumgar's development department is somewhat more sophisticated than that.
It's really a game about who can innovate faster and who can outrun each other. And we've been very focused on this market and very focused. It took 9 years to become number one in the world at this type of software sold to large businesses. And we intend to stay number one. And you stay number one by out innovating the competition, and every new technology trend, you jump on it before they do, and you just wake up every day hungrier than they do to go win the customers and serve the customers better. And it's the beauty of the free market that it makes everybody better. We've forced our competitors to become much better because of the bar we continue to set of what it takes to compete in this market.
The Bitsy Irby Visual Arts and Dance Center fosters creativity of all kinds. I mean, you can just kind of feel the energy when you walk in the building. And the chandelier here is a creation put together by students here on campus in conjunction with Andy Young at Pearl River Glass Studio. The 4-sided 10-foot vertical column holds panels of fused, transparent, and translucent colored glass in designs that represent and honor 4 of Belhaven's arts disciplines: theater, music, dance, and visual arts. It was a collaboration of community and university, as well as a feat of art, education, and engineering. Just down the street, at the Center for the Arts, there might be a play or a concert going on, since that's where the music and theater departments are housed. Well, not only does Belhaven University have these wonderful facilities for their own students, but every 4 years, international competitors come here and not only use the rehearsal hall, but also are housed on campus when the International Ballet Competition comes to Jackson. Hey, in our next segment, let's skip over to Vicksburg, about 30-40 miles west of Jackson, and take in a performance of Gold in the Hills. Gold in the Hills, by the way, holds the world's record as being the longest-running melodrama. It's been going on since the 1930s, and since then, good has constantly defeated evil. Let's take a look.
guess the way you define home, as a person would define home or going home, is you go back to what's familiar to you. And many people, as they get older, they try to reach back into their childhood and hold on to the few things that remain intact. Family, home, things of that nature. Well, the Golden Hills is one of those items for Vicksburg. I went there as a young child, I went there as a teenager, went there in college, I've gone there many times as an adult. It's the same hokey play. The Peanuts sort of make it lively and fun, and it's just one of those things that makes it feel familiar here. And it's, I guess it gives you a sense of security that you are home.
Golden Hills has such a history in Vicksburg. 1936 it started and has been running continuously since then. It's the longest running melodrama in the world, and it's in the Guinness Book of World Records.
They were trying to come up with a production that was entertaining and that could keep people in town overnight that were traveling through town. They give them a reason to stay and spend the night in Vicksburg before they left to go other places. And so they picked Golden Hills.
It's something that you can take the family to, and there's nothing really bad in it that you have to worry about your family. You can show it to the whole family. It's a family show.
Already music? And you within? Yeah! Then ring up. Let the play begin. We thank you all for being here tonight.
I'm just the housekeeper here, and I know my duty. It's not for me to tell this family what they're going to do, but I've got to speak to somebody. There's something strange going on in this house.
Here. This neighborhood ain't the quiet, peaceful place it used to be. First, this Mr. Murgatroyd and his man Slade hanging around, they don't mean no good.
But essentially it's good versus evil. It looks like evil is going to win, and then at the very last moment, good prevails.
Our opening scene with simple charm is on a homely, humble farm.
It's a humble farm family who are, as it turns out, oil has been discovered on their farm, but they don't know it. So an evil villain from the big city, from New York, he's back to try to get the middle daughter so that he'll marry her and have a claim to the deed for the farm.
I will pursue you, and you'll do nothing of the sort. You'll be in prison, on your way to the gallows for murder, and she will be in my power. You contemptible cur! It is a warning to any man, be he high or low, rich or poor, who insults defenseless womanhood.
Beth and I have been working with the cast to try to at least set certain places where we have a look about it that says melodrama to us, where everybody is adopting some kind of stylized pose, and perhaps even have them freeze for an instant and kind of like take a little visual snapshot for the audience.
She will never darken our door again, and we will never look upon her face. Not a word. Go!
And it needs to be presented as a melodrama to make sure that that genre of play is produced and is interpreted the way that it's supposed to be done, not just a normal play.
Sorry. There's also the peanut issue. Okay.
Oh, why did you bring that up?
Because it's there.
Okay.
That was one of the things that older people remember, throwing peanuts. You can't do that now. But you threw peanuts at the villain.
I don't miss them at all. And if you wonder why, go out there and try to perform on stage while people are trying to take your head off with peanuts. I've had whole bags of peanuts thrown at me before.
And the audience typically found that amusing and entertaining. But at the same time, I also remember that I watched 2 or 3 shows from the audience and never really caught the entire storyline because it was completely obscured. And the entertainment between the audience with the peanuts and everything helped cover up some of cover up what I think was a lack of melodrama, actually, that was in the play at the time.
Why shouldn't I come to pay a call on my old friends?
Friends? You serpent!
We're definitely in a transition right now, and the decision to not do peanuts
in a lot of ways really hurt us. But again, we felt like we had no other choice once we had all the facts. The rats had been over the years stockpiling a long-term food supply. So to emphasize other positive characteristics of the play, we're trying to go back to the basics on melodrama.
I think we're still at the beginning stages of shifting the focus of the play in another direction, and it takes time.
I'm going to play Murgatroyd as long as I can, and then when I'm finally get too old and decrepit to do that, I guess I'll do Father. And hopefully they'll eventually one day cart me off the stage with a sheet over my head.
No doubt in my mind, from the newest person in gold to the most senior former cast member, that we have a duty to keep this going.
I can't imagine this show ever closing here. It's too much of a tradition for Vicksburg.
Our next story is about Mississippi artist George Wardlaw, who, although he didn't study here at Belhaven, did contribute to the MFA program at Ole Miss by not only starting the program, but teaching in it and studying in it at the same time. Now, at age 87, the acclaimed artist was recently honored for lifetime achievement in abstract expressionism with an exhibition at the Mississippi Museum of Art. And up north in his hometown of Baldwin, George was even given his high school diploma and a key to the city. Recently, George was invited back to Mississippi for a retrospective look at his accomplishments, including an esteemed celebration and a big surprise. A while back in Mississippi, George was invited to his hometown. There, he enjoyed a trip down memory lane.
I remember very well when Johnny Arnold store was here. I used to buy all my clothes here.
Okay, all right.
Right.
So right here in this building. That's wonderful.
And although George grew up in Baldwin, he never received his high school diploma due to enlisting in the Navy at an early age. Well, the city of Baldwin recognized this contribution, among others, at a special ceremony.
Good evening, everyone. It is indeed a pleasure to be here, to return to Baldwin, the place where I was born and reared.
As a child, George was a leader. In every game we played or program that we had, George led the whole group of us.
We have got a key to the city here that we want to present to Mr. George Wardlaw on this, the day, May the 26th, 2015, from Mayor and Board of Aldermen of the City of Baldwin.
That came as a real surprise to me. And it's very meaningful to me to be given the key to the city as a part of the recognition of, hopefully, my accomplishments over the year.
George, I think, has a love for Baldwin. I think he wanted to come back and do the very thing that he is doing right now.
George never received his high school diploma. Learning that he volunteered his time when he was a junior in high school to serve in our military was really, really touching to me.
To receive an honorary high school diploma was something that I had discussed with my family, and my grandchildren will be absolutely thrilled, and they will also respond like, "Oh, Papa, you just graduated." I look forward, after this wonderful experience and the Jackson experience, of returning to my studio and continuing my work and continuing the challenge and the opportunity in the future. I'm so appreciative of what this trip has meant to me and what I have to take home for my work and for my family. And I thank you dearly for the opportunity to be here. Thank you.
Abstract expressionism is about working out of yourself and developing your own subject matter.
However my life developed, that's the way my art has developed. It has developed in a way out of the way that I perceive my life of living.
We're excited here at the museum to be presenting a retrospective of George Wardlaw's works called A Life in Art. His works from 1954 to 2014.
I think this painting was a liberating painting for me in the sense that it moved me of being conscious about objects, etc., to being about dealing with my internal being.
It's interesting for me that with George, he really moved from his abstract expressionism to doing these figurative expressions of the Hudson River Valley and then apples. And his apple series really stemming from his connection to the land.
I'd say the next really major breakthrough for me came with the apple paintings when I moved from Louisiana to New Paltz, New York. And the two things that impressed me was the Hudson River Valley and the fact that my wife and I were living in a house that had an apple orchard in the front and an apple orchard in the back.
And to me, that's something it's very distinct and characteristic of Mississippi artists, is that kind of really rooting themselves where they are and that becoming an expression in their work.
3 people from the museum came to visit my studio in Amherst, and they looked at many, many works that day, and then they brought back images of the work, and they ultimately decided this painting for the permanent collection.
Guardian of the Light is kind of composite of these different weather patterns and textured surfaces that you find along the main coastline.
It is about the shore. It is about weather. It is about lightning.
I think that there's a narrative quality to it and a kind of mystery and a curiosity about it that I think really come from all of his works.
That, it's very, very faint. It's part of the world beyond here. This is a part of the world in your space. And does it come from that world? What world does it come from? I don't know. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you.
I think it's significant for Mississippi and our museum to be presenting George because he is from Baldwin, Mississippi, and he was in the Navy in World War II and used the GI Bill to go to the Memphis Academy of Art. I think it's meaningful for us in the state to be able to look back at that trajectory and see what a Mississippian has done to bring who we are to others around the nation.
Well, that's it for our visit to Belhaven University in Jackson. If you'd like information about anything you've seen in the program, you can contact us at mpbonline.org/Mississippi Roads, or join our Mississippi Public Broadcasting Facebook page. We're going to leave you with some of the sights and sounds around campus. Until next time, I'm Walt Grayson. I'll be seeing you on Mississippi Roads.
Mississippi Roads is made possible in part by the generous support of viewers like you. Thank you.